Hi.
Hi.
Baby head get squeezed. Should be right. Hi. Welcome.
Aquaba.
Jordan's gonna go. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Before we dive into our topic today, we just want to invite you to subscribe
And like.
and share. If something is said that you just cannot deny telling and sharing with somebody else, okay? And do comment, all right? Do comment. So again, welcome to our YouTube channel where Jordan's gonna go. I am Stacy Jordan, and this is my husband,
Doyle Jordan.
all right, and this is our YouTube channel. Again, Jordan's gonna go. Get it? Ghana. So here on this channel, we talk and we share our journey and our experience of visiting and traveling to Ghana, possibly moving to Ghana, retiring to Ghana. We just really don't know exactly which direction we're going to go and what exactly we're going to do. I think it'll be somewhere nice to retire or maybe move to. I think honestly, I would really like to maybe do 6 months there and 6 months in the U.S. I don't know. We'll see. We don't know. We'll see. We're open, right?
That's right.
We're open. So, and you're invited to come along our journey. But tonight, we just wanted to come on and talk about it because we are 2 weeks back from our visit to Ghana, and it was absolutely amazing. It was worth it all, and we learned so much. When I say and tell you that it is great to put eyes and hands on and feet on and see and learn for yourself, that's more than anything that you can get in a classroom when you can go and see.
That's right. For
yourself and learn and hear for yourself. So, with our topic tonight, or today, we just want to talk about, because we've shared and kind of talked with different people and with posting on our social media and talking with friends, family, co-workers. It's here in the West and from people that look like us, other Black Americans. It's like Africa. Why Africa? Y'all not African.
Yeah.
Or they may say, I don't have any ancestors in Africa. And they may or may not, but it really looks like that most of the Black people that's here in America, especially those that came in 1619 during the transatlantic slave trade. We do have a video where we talk about our, it's the one that talks about our Cape Coast tour of the slave castle. It's something like that. I think it's like 6 minutes long. Check it out, little snippet. I'm like, that was an experience. And we've already talked about it, so we're not going to do that here again tonight. But we just wanted to come on, like, why is it that Black Americans deny, denounce, reject, or refuse connection and ties, relation, kindred to Africa? I used to be like that. I used to be like, I don't know nobody from Africa. There ain't nobody in my family from Africa. If we can just be completely honest and transparent, and for some it may come across as ignorance, like, how y'all didn't know that? Why y'all didn't know that? Because we live in America. We live in the U.S. That's why we didn't know. And most of our family member that came here, they came on the Atlantic slave trade from West Africa. And everything was stripped. Your clothes, your name, your language, your identity, who you were, who your people were, who your family were. During that slave trade, if me and my husband and I were back then and we had our children, he went one way, I went another, and the kids went another way, never to see each other again 400 plus years to this day. Talk about breaking up the family dynamics, breaking up the family home. Separated. never to be reconnected again. So I'm wondering if some of that comes from when we have Black Americans that say, "Oh shoot, I ain't from Africa. I ain't never been to Africa. I don't know nobody from Africa." Is some of that somewhere in us as a form of protection? You deny any connection or any relations. You kind of, that was passed down in generation. It was just easy to go on and act as if it didn't happen. Because if you acknowledge that means you got to look at the Atlantic slave trade. You got to look at what happened to your ancestors and your people. I don't know. You have any friends or family that have said, or even you yourself? Because I admit it, I was at no, honey. I'm born in America. My mama was born here in the U.S. My dad was born here in the U.S. We don't know nobody in Africa.
I mean, everything comes about when you learn the real history of America, when you learn how America was built, the principles that it was built on, and when you realize what you're really calling yourself a part of wasn't even intended for you, how could we claim such a place that never was intended for us? But when everything boils down, we all come from one basic place. It's just that we've been spread. We are spread around across the world,
scattered to the four corners of the world.
So, with that being said, there are a lot of people that look at Africa as a place that's low when it comes down to how people live and things like that, and they may not want to associate themselves in that sense, because I've had people to say, why would you go to Africa? And when we do the videos of the houses and different things in that country, they are surprised at how beautiful these places are, because in their minds, everybody is living low in Africa. Everybody is there's flies flying around everywhere and different things like that, because
hiding in the trees,
America,
in the jungle from the lions,
American
and tigers.
television has portrayed Africa as one of the places where there's no civilization.
Dry bones, desolation.
So when it's depicted that way for years and generation after generation, it's hard for Black Americans to see anything different. Yeah. So why would we want to be associated when we think
so negative?
So negative of a place. Well, when we learn better, we see different.
Yeah, we do better.
And when the scales are pulled from our eyes and we see a brighter light, and we see that those things that we were taught or that we've seen on television were not true, then we can understand that some of the first civilizations on earth come from Egypt, come from Africa. That was a place where people all over the world came to learn their ways of life and living, and how they studied the stars and how they had that advanced
Timbuktu.
Yes. And for years, that was never said in our history books, how Kemet, Egypt was a place where people came to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, from all over the world, and they took this back to their countries
And claimed it as their own.
Yes. So what you have is one of the smartest and first civilizations on Earth that came out of Africa. These places were so advanced that to this day we cannot figure out how they built those pyramids.
Yeah. And then when you have a negative image about Africa, like you said earlier, who wants to be associated with that? Nothing in our textbooks, in our education, in our churches, in most of our families. I can say your family and my family. I can't put a hand or finger on anyone who taught African history or who had a great interest. They could have had it privately, but no one came up and say, "Hey, family." Or when you had those family get-togethers, you always have that one person that want to tell you who you are and remind you about yourself. We didn't get that. So we had to go. Once we learned better and learned some things, we was like, hold on. We've been on a cruise. Okay, we know what it's like to be on a boat and some water. Our ancestors have done that. So I really even see cruises. And I'm not knocking nobody if that's what you do. We've done Disney, we've done all this other stuff, and I'm like, we just decided we want to put our money to learn more about our heritage. And then we found out that we have Hebrew heritage. So we wanted to go and see and find out and learn, and especially living in the West, when we see so much in our government and politics, when someone fights so hard to block your history, to even burn and ban books. Okay, remember Constantine, the Roman Catholic Church, they was burning books in the Bible, and I was like, hold on, here's another playbook in history. But nobody, as Black Americans, nobody wants to be associated with something negative, and the images we get here growing up about Africa has not been great. It has not been positive. Only thing is slavery, and who wants to look back at such a hard and difficult time? And that's why I personally like to teach and share moments before slavery, our kings and queens.
Yeah, back when we were young in the 70s, early 80s, 70s, and 80s, all the commercials we saw at night were about
The infomercials,
feeding kids in Ethiopia. Then the kids was skinny with big stomachs, flies flying everywhere. That was the only videos we ever saw of Africa, was sending money to Africa to feed the Ethiopian kids.
Never saw anything positive or good coming out of Africa.
So we always had an image that, man, those folks in Africa, they're just living. They don't have food. They don't have nothing to eat. They're just starving. But when we realize that the foods in Africa, everything basically in Africa is organic. I mean, man, you can eat chicken over there. You can eat rice. You can eat fufu. You can eat goat.
Stuff that you've gotten fresh
and
that
all these foods are organic to the point where they are much better. They are eating better in Africa than we can ever eat in America.
And I think if we had that knowledge and would educate ourselves on Africa, we wouldn't look so negatively and view and not even think to go there. And honestly, from what I'm learning now, I think a lot of this much of everything we've learned is intentional, because I don't want you to know. Why would I want you to look that way?
The people, I know people. Some people had said, "Why would you want to take a vacation and go to Africa, and I would respond, that's a beautiful place.
We can definitely
That's
say that now.
motherland. The beaches are nice. The weather is nice. I mean, it was a beautiful place. When
The
we went to
people
see
were
it.
nice.
We didn't see any fighting and shooting, none of that going on. But just to say from our experience, it's a beautiful place. Food is nice, the weather is nice. Growing any type of fruits and vegetables, the wildlife, the animals, the meats. I mean, everything about what you can achieve or what you can gain from going there has been put as a negative. I mean, these countries don't even accept food that's produced in America because of all the chemicals that's in our food.
And a lot of us don't know that, and it goes back to us educating ourselves. I think here in the West, after 400 and some years, I think we need to go mute on expecting our education system, our government, to teach us about our history. That hand to mouth feeding. It's time to wake up and go and educate and learn for ourselves, because the thing is, with this pandemic, that's what got me to study. When things that are meant to hurt you and to harm you, there's a saying that saying what was meant for bad, it actually turned out to work for our good. During this pandemic and this being closed in, shut in, I used that time to go educate and study and learn. One of the things that we picked up was, and I can't even tell you how it came across. I was searching and looking for something on YouTube and came across race, racism, and religion. It's a teaching by Dr. Fred Price. He's gone on now. He died maybe a couple of years back, but he spent 18 months, I think it was, teaching on race, racism, and religion at his church. Some people left because he studied and he came before his congregation and he shared. He was shunned, and I just happened to come across it, and we just started learning and studying, and they made me grab a separate Bible and go back through it and highlight every scripture. And I'm like, okay, what is this all about? What is this saying? And I think when you, like we said, it's education and learning. When you have been painted and told that you are a certain way, no, you don't want to connect back, because back there is pain. Who wants to go back to pain? Who wants to go back to pain? But I think when people take the time to educate and learn, and even for some people, when I say take the time to educate and learn, we don't even want to face and learn and deal with it. Because some people say, oh, I just get angry and I get upset. I don't want to be in a bad mood. How do you think our ancestors felt during the Atlantic slave trade when they were snatched up? Husband went one way, I went another way, and the kids went another way. And I tell people, if they experienced it and endured it, sure, we can experience and learn it and make sure it's not repeated. And teach our children. Your enemy can no longer teach you or your children. It is time for Black Americans, Black people all over, to learn. Yeah, I'm not saying everybody Black here, Columbus and all of that. Yes, there were some Black people here, but those that was put on that ship across the Atlantic Ocean, any of those, I think it's how many of those? There were about, I don't know, 3, 4 slave castles. There's Elmina, Cape Coast. I think there were some up near towards Nigeria, some other places. But we don't know too because we don't know our family history. We would have never known if we hadn't learned some about our family history and connection that says, hey, no, seems like your people, our people, may have been part of the people that was put on that ship, a part of the Atlantic slave trade, and brought here to the Americas.
Just what makes it easier now. See, back when we were growing up, we had to go to the library and use encyclopedias and read what somebody else had put there for us to read about certain things. But we have access on our phones.
Yeah.
We have access to videos. We have access to Google. We have access to
Chat GPT.
Yeah, we got access to a lot of things. It's right in the palm of our hands, and all we have to do is
ask and
pull
do
it
the
up
research
and read. Pull it up and read. Look at videos. Don't get. I often say when I'm talking to other people, don't get in a place where you are basically trapped inside of a fence in your own mind and you can't get outside of that fence. Tear that fence down.
Mm-hmm.
Let that knowledge take you past that fence that you've been staying in and learn more. Travel. See things. Yeah, see things.
Pick up a book and read.
Yeah, see things. Go see things that you've never seen in person. Get a passport, and begin to recognize things and learn about things that were never brought to our attention. But once these things are brought to your attention and your eyes are open to see, because we're basically we see but we really don't see. We hear
or we see and we really don't want to see.
Or we hear and we really don't hear. But what is different is knowledge. I mean, even throughout the Bible, the knowledge that was given to open eyes for us to see beyond the high walls. And we have to understand that in these times, we cannot afford to waste time. We're wasting a lot of time. We're wasting a lot of time just being dormant and not alive. But a lot of people have waking up, and a lot of people are seeing things, life differently, and they are being more
open to.
They're being more. What is that?
They're open to
optimistic
learning.
About learning and just being open to doing more things.
Dig in and learn your history, and you'll see. Like I said, and we're gonna wrap this up. I used to be afraid of Africa. I'm gonna speak my truth, because only thing we got, punjinks and curses and root work, starvation. It was not pretty. When I say fear, like if someone from Africa, we were walking down the street the same way some white people used to do Black Americans. If we was walking, you went the other way, because nothing positive. I'm just be straight up and tell you, nothing positive was said. nothing, will associate. It was all negative. The same way negative things are said about Black Americans. We've learned that Africa students that come here, they're told not to even connect and associate with the Black Americans here. We're lazy, we're whatever. There is always a plan to divide, and our eyes have been opened and awakened. We've learned in history and throughout history, even from the Willie Lynch letter, how the whole plan and scheme was to create envy and division. And we've always, what's that saying? You divide and conquer. That's the whole plan of the enemy. But here's the thing, the whole world at this point has been deceived. And we no longer want to participate. But I would encourage, learn your history. Go back as far as you can, past your grandmama. Because I said the same thing. And I ain't from Africa. No, I don't know nobody over there. They don't know me. I don't know them. I'm from the U.S. I'm from America. And that is true. But my roots. People ask you where your family was from. I used to say, shoot, my family, we from Georgia. But everybody else could say, oh, we, Europe, or we're Jamaican. But who are we? Who we are? It feels so good to have a connection. Like I once was lost, but we feel some foundness. You know what I'm saying? We feel good that we have some connection to something that can go back. I feel proud, and I think we deny Africa because we feel so bad about it. There's nothing for Black Americans to feel proud of. That I think that did it. That summed it up. We don't have nothing to feel proud of when it comes to Africa. It's all been negative. So what's the answer and the solution you would tell the people?
The answer is see it for yourself. See it for yourself. Go there, witness it, because I can put into words how beautiful it is, but your eyes seeing it you will be amazed. I just feel that all the negative thoughts and feelings that people may have, once you even start studying and looking at the land now,
it's all that's what we did.
You can see this. You can see that it is not what people say it is. So if you take the time out to see how beautiful that land is, or how resourceful it is, and how that land gives back to its people, gives back to nature, and
the land gives back, not the government.
Yeah, the land.
They're not established.
And you will be very appreciative of saying, this is the motherland.
And I have ties and connection to the motherland.
You would really appreciate the fact that they are still growing and doing things, everything when it comes to food. So the natural way. Yeah. These things we need here, but we won't get them here.
Yeah, it's toxic, and it's intentional. We've seen enough of that.
That's right.
We've learned that.
And so what's important to one thing that should be important to us is our quality of life when it comes down to our health, and those things are very important. But just to piggyback and just to end this, read, study, and get a new vision on how you see the motherland.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
That's it.
Jordan's gonna go. Hopefully we said something you like. Please comment. You know anyone that says, hey, I'm an American. I'm not from Africa. I don't have any family from Africa. None of my ancestors from Africa. Have you done your family research, your family history? You may truly have some ties and connections to those that came over from the Atlantic slave trade, 1619. Through on. All right. All right. From one descendant to another descendant of our ancestors, we thank them. All right, y'all have a good night.
Y'all say it's good night.
Oh yeah, Amma says good night. All right, bye. Good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you're from. Madasi, Madasi.